What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to another Division 2 video. If you happen to be new to the channel, then ground and pound that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so that way you know each and every time a stream goes live or a video is uploaded. Just reach up there and trigger that bell. As we all know, the raid is upon us. It is insanely difficult, but that's one of the main things that I love about it, the mechanics of it, the team composition that you must have, and everybody has to have a particular type of role in their 8-man squad. Whether it be, completely damage to elites DPS, or more or less the jack of all trades, such as what we're about to unveil to you here now. And then, there's others that has to be, tanky and pretty much, it depends on the composition of your team, but everybody has a role. Everybody's going to be playing a little different. Every build, must be a little different, but yet complement each other in the same sense, right? So basically, this build that I'm about to unveil to you is basically a jack of all trades, like I said, because it pretty much meets the needs of no matter the situation or no matter the role that you're actually in. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. As you can see, my armor is 335,082, my health is 117,548, and I have 702 skill power. So let's hop into the weapons first. Let's start out with the Black Market M60E6, base damage of 35.7k, when unhinged, rate of fire, and transmission. And of course, you can use, instead of the reload speed or accuracy, you can pretty much pick and choose to your personal preference. But of course, on the optics, you can add the 5% damage to elites as well as the muzzle, as I have on this military MK46, 27.9k base damage, unhinged, Allegro, everlasting, and there's that C79 scope with that 5% damage to elites, a rate of fire, reload speed, and an additional 5% damage to elites on that 5.56 muzzle. Now moving on to the other components, let's start out with the Ghillie Guard 3-piece set, and then we'll go on to the 2-piece True Patriot, and then of course the 1 Petrov. So let's start out with the chest piece first. On the chest, for 3 pieces, you get 5% total armor, 20% hazard protection, and of course 15% pulse skill power. I mean, you can use a pulse if you want to, but if you're going to use a pulse, then you have to run spotter, and basically just the additional 3rd piece of Ghillie Guard, because it has a lot of blue defensive Legos, so that way I can up my toughness even more. So that's why I have exactly 3 and then not just 2. But on the chest piece, as you can see, I have 16% total armor, 219 skill power, and then an additional 25,732 armor. And the talents we're using is Unbreakable. 70% of your max armor is repaired when your armor is depleted. Armor kits used within the next 7 seconds are not consumed. So, if you're taking considerably a lot of damage, all your armor's gone, Unbreakable is procced, and with my armor, basically I'm going to be getting back almost 200k armor once Unbreakable is procced, and if you're getting completely beamed by NPCs, then for that next 7 seconds, you can add an additional medkit if you so need. And then of course, in the mod slot, we have 8663 health, 2% extra incoming healing, and then 4% skill health. In the utility mod slot, we have 112 skill power, 240 chem launcher skill power, and then plus 217 firefly skill power. But basically, we're just utilizing it for the 240 chem launcher skill power. In the other defensive systems mod slot, we have 5107 armor, 3% total armor, and then 1619 armor on kill. Now moving on to the Kneepads. It's got 14,119 armor, and we're utilizing Patience. After being in cover for 5 seconds, armor repairs by 5% every second. This is definitely comes in quite handy, so that way if you're having to take cover whenever you're running from the big heavy guy, if you're marked and you're the one that's aggroed and he has your eyes on you, he swings a lot, but yet as soon as it transitions to someone else, if you need to take cover and actually immediately heal, then also you get that buff of Patience. You can shoot NPCs while you're in cover, you can take damage, but in turn you're getting that 5% armor, and it actually increases your survivability. In most parts of the raid, there are places, especially either the end, the beginning, where Patience is very, very handy and comes in clutch and will increase your survivability tremendously. So I definitely recommend it. In the mod slots, we have 8167 health, 808 armor regeneration, and then another 1183 armor on kill. In the other defensive system mod slot, we have 5096 armor, 3% total armor, and 5% health regen. Now moving on to the third and final piece of Ghillie Guard. It is a Ghillie Guard holster. The attributes on it is 42,748 health, and then 371 skill power. We can only use one offensive mod here because we are using Safeguard, so we can't go over 4. And in this offensive system mod slot, we have 5% weapon damage, and then of course we're not using an SMG. We're only using LMG, so we get an additional 4% weapon damage. So it more or less takes place of such talents like Devastating, if you want needed Devastating in this holster, or if you're such as on PC, but I'm on console, you could also use the talent Precise to get that extra 15% headshot damage. And also you can get additional headshot damage if you want to run a secondary Nemesis to get that 25% for that holster talent. If you want to run Sharpshooter along with the LMG, especially for PC, then definitely you want to stack headshot damage, utilize the Nemesis as your secondary, so that way you can stack even further headshot damage. And of course that Nemesis can also come in clutch in certain situations when you need to do considerable range and a certain time frame, and you don't want to have to necessarily run all the way there to get in range, such as you would need to with an LMG or even sometimes even with an AR. But you know, with that marksman rifle definitely comes in handy. So if you prefer that way and you're on PC, or if you're good with hitting a lot of headshots on console, then by all means play as your personal preference and play this build to meet your needs and your play style. And this is just how I prefer to play it, right? So moving on to the mask here. It is a true Patriot mask, and for utilizing 2 pieces you get that multiplicative damage plus 10% damage to armor. So that way, with those purple NPCs and the red NPCs, then that further helps that raw base damage that you have, so that way you can deplete their armor even faster. And even it helps out a lot on the named elite bosses, and of course those gold NPCs as well. It can help take them down a lot faster. And to help that out with those gold and named elites, on the attributes we have 37% damage to elites, and then of course 14,049 health. Now on the second piece of the True Patriot, it is the gloves, and we have 8% LMG damage. I'm trying to find a better, higher base LMG damage than that. I had one at 11%. I have no idea where it went. But as soon as I find a better percentage roll, then that will definitely be applied here. And then of course we have 9,462 health. Now moving on to the backpack. It is the Petrov backpack. For having that one piece, you get that plus 10% LMG damage. Its attributes are 4% cooldown reduction, 12,729 armor, 5% weapon damage, and then 7404 health. And of course we are utilizing Safeguard. Killing a target grants a 150% bonus to repairing and healing effects for 5 seconds. This can occur once every 20 seconds. And then of course we have Hardened for an additional plus 10% armor. Now if you don't want the Hardened here, you can substitute that for Vital, but also with this amount of tankiness, if you prefer damage to elites here, then you can put hard hitting there as well to get that additional 15% to damage to elites to further I guess your DPS when it comes to those gold and named bosses. So you can tweak it here and there. It's not exactly perfect, but it does work really well as is, and you have tons of survivability, and as you can see, you do tons and tons of DPS. Now the majority of those that are playing the raid and those that have completed the raid usually are using the Chem Launcher and some variation of the Reviver Hive, or I've seen some even use the Restore Fixer drones, things of that nature. So whatever you're most comfortable with, you need to pretty much mix and match between Reviver Hives, Restore Hives, and even Booster Hives can come in handy, especially if you need to get to places and marks in those either the first stage, second stage, or third phase of that raid. So that way even that can come in handy. So mix and match and coordinate with your team to what's best for everyone and what can be utilized best as the whole. because you want good composition, good teamwork, good communication, because that's basically the only way you're going to get anywhere in this raid. It is ridiculously that insane, and that's what makes me love it just that much more. But I'm going to send you over to some gameplay. It's a little bit possibly of the raid, but more or less it's just the SHD daily, so that way you get to see more or less what it potentially it can do, and in better hands, then it is definitely going to be very optimal when it comes into all things of the raid. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we'll see you fudging later.